God added the law, the Mosaic covenant, on top of the Abrahamic in order to teach people the greatness of their sin and misery. And so you have this national covenant, this temporary covenant with a legal quality about it, where the people take the same kinds of vows that they took, basically that were similar to the vows that Adam took implicitly. So you look, for example, at Exodus 24 after Sinai. Moses came and told, this is 24:3, reading from the NIV, and told the people all the words that of the Lord and all the rules. And the people answered with one voice and said, all the words that the Lord has spoken, we will do. And Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord. He rose early in the morning and he built an altar at the foot of the mountain and 12 pillars according to the tribes of Israel. And he set young men of the people of Israel who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen. And now watch this. And Moses took half the blood and put it in the basins, and half of the blood he threw against the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. And they said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do, and we will obedient. Now listen to this, verse 8. And Moses took the blood and he threw it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words. That's the national covenant that God made with national Israel. That's new. That's different. That's temporary. That's typological. It's an administration of the covenant of grace on the one hand and an administration of the covenant of works on the other. And you have to have both of these simultaneously. It's not one or the other. It's both and. It's not covenant of works for salvation, but it's at least a restatement of the law to teach them the greatness of their sin and misery. And that's the pedagogical use of the law. And all these people are saying, we're going to do this law. And of course, if you know anything about what happened thereafter, they proceeded not to do the words of this law. They did learn what gold tastes like.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And ultimately they were thrown out of the land because of their disobedience.
Yeah.
But they were also allowed to stay in the land despite their gross disobedience, despite the fact that Moses broke the tablets before he even got down to the bottom of the mountain because he saw their idolatry. So they broke the covenant even in that sense before it even began.
Yeah.
So God was gracious, he was patient, he was kind, he was merciful, but eventually he does kick them out of the land, sends them into exile, and that's all part of the process of redemptive history. But at no time was anybody ever saved by anything but by grace alone, through faith alone.
Right.
But there is this legal overlay on top of the covenant of grace, but it always continued to be a covenant of grace.
Yeah.
And I would say even ultimately the people stayed in the land as long as they did because of grace. So it's not even strictly a legal covenant. Yeah. And that's why I like to talk about the pedagogical function of republication. It was teaching those people, listen, you are never going to be able to do it. That's why Jesus said to the young man, go and sell all that you have in Luke 10:28. Give it to the poor. He was preaching the law to that young man to teach him the greatness of his sin and misery. And he went away sad because he couldn't do it. And what he should have said, teacher, you're right. I can't do that. I need you to save me. That's what he should have said. He wasn't giving this guy a plan for his life and a way to be prosperous and successful or anything like that.